Hi, everybody. This is Paul Cooper with part 3 of Real Estate F-Bombs, and it's Go Fund Yourself. So, we're going to discuss on how to get some funding for your business and your investments. It's going to be fairly brief, just the high points. I'll go into more detail on certain topics later on, but this is just to get your feet wet on how to get started. So, we're going to discuss several main categories of investors. So, the first one and the largest would be general investors. There's tons of them. It's a vast ocean of potential partners. If you look at people that just have money in retirement accounts and self-directed accounts, it's something insane, like tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe even $1 trillion just sitting there, not doing much. So there is a ton of money sitting on the sidelines with general investors just in retirement accounts. That's not even talking about investors that have cash that's not in retirement accounts. So there's plenty of money out there. People know that they need to save and invest, and most of them are looking for a good return. They're either scared of the stock market. The stock market supposedly returns 10%, 8 to 10% on average over the history, but that's over a history of over 200 years. So averaged out over that timeline, yeah, it looks pretty good. But then when you actually look where there are decades of stagnation or nothing, you could get hosed if that's all you did. And so some people are cautious about that. They see that there's another housing bubble coming. They don't want to invest in stocks. They want to invest in something that they understand a little better, makes a little bit more sense. And they definitely just don't want it sitting there, making maybe 0.5% in a bank account or a money market or CD, maybe making 1.5. That's not even coming close to keeping up with inflation. So, saving's good, but you need to make a little sum so you actually aren't losing money by just having it sit there. So they're a good source. The cons are they require more education. Most people don't know that much about real estate. They've heard that it's a great investment and that a lot of people have made money on of it and over the centuries, and that it's supposed to be the number one way for people to become millionaires, things like that. They've probably seen Flip That House, House Hunters, all that other garbage TV. So they maybe know a little bit, and maybe they've owned their own home, so they know a little bit about real estate, but not much. They're going to require a bunch of education from you. And probably a smaller percentage of these people are going to work with you, but that's okay, because when even if it's only 1%, when there are millions of them out there, you don't need a large percentage of them to actually work with you for you to get funded. So our second group that we're going to really want to target are real estate investors. These people already have an interest on the topic. They should be hopefully low-hanging fruit. They're usually already fairly educated on some topics, probably not the note game. You'll probably have to educate them on that, but they should pick it up pretty quickly. They usually have money ready to go, or they know someone who does. I think the old adage is there's never a retired real estate investor, so they're always looking, and they'll be a very good source for you. They can be pretty resistant to anything besides rents or fix and flips, because that's the standard thing. People, they wholesale, they fix and flip, or they rent it. That's the standard real estate playbook. That's what people know. Even uneducated people know at least a little something about those topics. So you're gonna have to educate them on what you do. That with notes, you don't take the property. You don't own the physical property. You've got the paper. So unless you end up foreclosing or doing cash for keys or something like that, you don't get the actual physical property. So it's a little bit of a shift in your mindset. It's not too bad though, and these are pretty good source of people to get in contact with. Another con, if you want to see it this way, is they may eventually want to go out on their own and do it, so you may lose a source. Again, that's kind of a scarcity mindset thing. You want to be positive. You want to realize that there's tons of money out there, tons of deals. Maybe you don't want to, if you're working with someone or you're training them, you don't want to give them all your secrets, but training them on how to do the basic game here, you shouldn't be afraid of that. If you're afraid of that, it's probably just a matter of time before you either go out of business because you're not getting people to work with you, or your fears are going to happen and you're going to be taken to the cleaners. So stay positive. If people eventually want to move on, that's okay. You need to keep mining your sources for assets and for funds. If you get enough to where you're like, oh, I've raised $1 million, that's enough for me to do my stuff, and make my, living each year. That's fine, but the well will eventually dry up. You got to keep replenishing it. The third group we're going to talk about are professionals. These can be doctors, lawyers, financial planners, other high income white collar earners. The good thing with them is they usually have money to invest. They make a lot of money, so hopefully they're saving it. Another positive thing is they're usually too busy with their jobs and families. I mean, people that are making mid to high six figures, they're generally putting in a lot of hours, unless they've already put in years and they're kind of sitting back. It's pretty rare these people are going to have a bunch of free time on their hands to do this type of investing. So that works for you because they're looking for good people to take care of their money for them so they can make more money, because these people absolutely know there are better ways out there to make money than just giving it to a bank or just buying bonds or stocks. The diversity is good, but they're not going to just be happy sitting with that money in a money market. So these people are going to be highly educated. You can't just go to them and just, oh yeah, I've heard of certain words. Like if you just watched my terms and definitions video and you just start throwing out some stuff, but you really haven't used it a bunch and you're not 100% with it. They may not know the note game in real estate, but you need to know what you're talking about. You don't have to throw out big fancy words to make yourself sound more intelligent and educated and knowledgeable. Transparency is key. I've covered that a bunch of times. Be transparent with everyone. You don't lie. Don't try to make yourself out as something else. Just be honest, and most people will appreciate your candor. And that's how you're going to build a healthy relationship. And you need to show these people a proven track record most of the time. It's hey, I just got into the game. I've got this business. Would you give me a bunch of money to invest in this stuff? I'll give you half or whatever. Oh, by the way, I really don't have much or any or no experience. That's not going to go well. You need to have a game plan. Most of these people are going to see a proven track record before they invest with you, or before they invest with you seriously. And so that means knowing what you're talking about. Does that mean you're going to show them your bank account or anything like that? No, but you need to take them through the steps, educate them, and show them that you have a system in place that's, a proven system that's going to make money consistently. And so that's what you're going to need for professionals. And so you had your three main groups. You had the general investors, the real estate investors, and then you had the professionals. So now you need to know, how are you going to reach out to them? Well, if you've seen any of my videos, I'm a really big fan of LinkedIn. I use that a lot. You'll find professionals on there, CEOs, vice presidents, presidents, people like that. Make friends with them. And really at that point, if you're just looking for them to do some work with you and fund you, and you're not looking for assets from them, there's a bajillion of them out there. You don't have to look for just certain industries. Facebook's another decent place to find professionals and other investors. I wouldn't. It's gonna be harder to search for them to make that initial contact possibly. But what you're going to want to do with Facebook is do targeted advertising. And that'll be a video just by itself. We'll cover that in a completely different video. And you'll want to target certain people, based on some criteria. You'll want them to make a certain amount of money. Maybe you want to just narrow it down to a certain area. Like maybe you're doing a lot of investing in a certain city and you're going to target that city within people within 25 miles of it, because you don't have to invest in your backyard, especially with notes, but a lot of people like to, and especially if they're not super familiar, they would like the comfort of knowing where they're at. And the other nice thing is if you're doing a lot of investing there and you're getting investors that are in the area, they can help you out. They'll know, oh, hey, that realtor sucks, that neighborhood's terrible, oh, this neighborhood's up and coming, it's great. You can get them to do drive-bys for you, take some pictures and stuff. They're going to be committed to it, and if it's close to them, you'll have to explain to them that they can't reach out to the borrower. But yeah, if they're investing in their backyard, they'll be more than happy to drive by and take some pictures. Twitter's another good place. Again, it's going to be hard to necessarily reach out to real estate people on there. You'll be able to find other industry leaders to follow. You'll just keep putting out good stuff, and people will come to you. You can see use different hashtags and see what's trending for the type of investments you're doing, your business, and the people that are involved in that type of stuff. So it's pretty good. There's a bunch of other social media out there. I'm not going to cover it all. Other ways to contact people. The big thing with social media is to just establish your presence, keep putting out stuff, and people, it'll slowly start snowballing for you, kind of like LinkedIn. And then another great way to reach out to people are real estate investment clubs and professional clubs. You're meeting people in person, and they're the type of people that you want to meet. Especially real estate clubs, these people, they're actively trying to get stuff done. They're either getting educated, they're getting stuff done, they're making investments. Those are the people that should work out just great for you. It's going to depend on where you live. If I live in a smaller town. We only have about 100,000 people here. So as far as I know, we don't have a real estate club. But I'm only, not quite an hour south of Colorado Springs. They've got 600,000 plus people. They've got several real estate clubs. And so, once a month, I'll drive an hour up there to meet people. It's not a big deal. There's a lot of people there. There's good education. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not going up there just to try to find investors or assets for me. I'm going to learn some stuff. There's going to be good information. I may not use all of it, but it's good. You need to broaden your horizons, and you're going to meet some people. It's a great way to network and learn some stuff, and then help other people learn. So when I go to real estate clubs, make sure to have some business cards. Are you in business? Do you have a business card? No. Well, are you really in business then? If you don't have any business cards, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be you need to get them. If you don't have business cards, then you better be putting out awesome flyers and pamphlets and something else. You want something that people can take with them that's going to have your contact information on them at the very least. If you're having to oh, what's your phone number? And then let me text you real quick so you have my contact. That's not going to fly. That's only good. Like if you went to a convention and you brought 1,000 business cards and now you're talking to the, you're 1,001 person and you're out of business cards. Okay, whatever. That's fine. You'll work through it. But don't show up empty-handed to places. Make sure your cell phone's completely charged. That way you can add people to it. You can be looking up stuff. Really basic information and steps you need to take to be professional and be ready. And I'll cover in some other another series that I talked about that I'm going to do is the Note Warrior series. I'm going to have the equipment and weapons of the Note Warrior, and that's going to be in there. So when you show up to these places, be professional. Does that mean you necessarily need to wear a suit or anything like that? No, but you don't look like garbage either. Like right now, I'm just wearing a black t-shirt and jeans. I'm hanging out at my house. I'm making some videos, trying to do a little work. That's fine. But when I go there, I'm going to very least wear some, a decent polo shirt and some clean jeans, if not a khaki or button-up shirt. Make yourself presentable. You don't have to do the full suit and tie. But make sure that you look presentable and that you're not a slob that just got off your job, going there. Now, if you're trying to advertise that you're a handyman or something, then yeah, maybe you should show up with all your tools and some paint on your shirt. But for us, no, make sure you look clean. Make sure you got your stuff to hand out. If you're going to go your first time and just try to learn some stuff, you don't need a bunch of pamphlets or things like that, but still, get some business cards, people. Hopefully I hammered that in enough. And that's what you would do for real estate professional clubs. And same thing with conventions. They're great. Hopefully you're getting some good education at the conventions. You're networking with people. If you're going to these places and you're just sitting in the back, listening, trying to learn some stuff, and you're not talking to people and staying involved, is it better than nothing? Yes, but not much. If you're an introvert, and I'm slightly introverted, I'm not, terrible. I'm not a shut-in. You got to get over it. You got to go out and meet people. I loved LinkedIn and social media and emailing people. Phone calling's good too, but you need to be able to meet people in person. Some people won't want to invest with you if you don't meet them in person, or they don't know someone that has met you in person. They want you to know you're a real human being. And another thing you can do is, since we're investing all over the United States, talking to a bunch of different people, is I'm putting my face out there constantly, so even though we haven't met face to face, you watch enough of my videos and things like that, it's kind of like we have, that plus a phone call, FaceTime, Skype. Those are other ways to kind of meet someone face to face without actually being in the same room. All right, so I hope I hammered that in. The next thing is mail campaign. I've alluded to that in some of my other videos. I'm specifically targeting IRA investors, people that have self-directed IRAs. So these people are savvy, that they've already invested in real estate. They know how to use a self-directed IRA. They know real estate. Should be low-hanging fruit. I'm going to be mailing out to them. I'm going to do at least one probably fairly large video on just that and how I did it. I've covered it a little bit here and there. So I may break it up into a series, but watch out for that, folks. I'm not going to cover everything here, because it will be more than just a little bit of a highlight. The other thing you can do is reach out to people on forums. There are a bunch of good real estate forums. I like reiclub.com. That's probably the first forum I went on back in, I guess that was over 10 years ago when I was in college. Lots of good information on there. I haven't been on there recently. It kind of died down as far as participation, but there's still some really good articles on there, some videos, and if you're willing to search through the forums, there's good information on there. Biggerpockets.com, I'm sure you've all heard of that. They're a really large website and forum. They've got great articles, very, very active. So whereas REI Club's probably on the decline, or kind of dead, BiggerPockets is very much alive. I actually need to do a lot more, be a lot more active on there. Really good, knowledgeable people on there, good articles. You can start your own blog on there. That's a good way to establish some credibility, and you'll find other investors on there that you can either learn from, work with, partner with. They'll have partner with you. So that's a really good resource. There's probably some others, but those are really the only two that I know of, and I'm assuming BiggerPockets is the largest of them, just because I haven't heard of anything else. So go on there, spend some time on there. Get your education, reach out to people. It's a great resource, especially if you, really anyone should be doing it. But yeah, like let's say you live way far away from, REI clubs and things like that. Well, then you're going to have to leverage the internet more, and that's a good way to do it. And that's the end of this video, folks. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned from it. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me. And I hope you all have a good day.